I was Sean Freeman's kept woman, and from the very beginning, my goal was to get pregnant with his baby. The day the pregnancy test showed 2 lines, I thought I had finally secured my future. One night, when I was suffering from pregnancy nausea, I clearly heard 2 childish voices coming from my belly. Daddy wants to get rid of mommy and keep the babies. We can't let him succeed. We have to make sure he transfers all his assets to our names before mommy gets abandoned. Before I could even process the shock, another voice spoke up. This time, it spoke directly to me. Mommy, Daddy installed a listening device inside the hidden compartment of your nightstand. You can't act recklessly anymore. Pretend to be innocent and helpless. Remember, if you're going to play the victim, make sure you act like a real one. I instinctively glanced at the nightstand. A red light blinked faintly through the crack. I froze. Cold sweat instantly soaked through my nightgown. I, Anna Everton, stood frozen at the bathroom door. I was too terrified to move. My stomach was in knots and my brain was on sensory overload. Honestly, it was a toss-up which one was worse. The calm voice from inside my belly came again. He sounded wise beyond his years. I named him Caleb. Mommy, don't be scared. He's probably listening in from the study right now. He's judging your condition based on how often you're throwing up. Hurry up and act as weak and fragile as you're supposed to. The other voice, which belonged to Lily, quickly added, that's right, cry, but don't sob too loudly. You need to sound soft and pitiful. That's the kind of thing that makes him worry about you. I took a deep breath, leaned against the wall, and slowly made my way back to the bed. My palm rested against the cold wooden nightstand. My fingertips brushed lightly over the hidden seam. There was a listening device in there. Sean Freeman had been secretly listening to me. I curled up under the blanket, buried my face into the pillow, and let soft, broken sobs escape. This time I didn't need to pretend. The fear and panic were real. I was Sean's disposable kept woman. I had always known that. Mommy, stop thinking. He's coming back, Caleb warned. Act, Mommy. Show him that you're a delicate woman who can break at any moment. Lily cheered me on. I immediately pulled myself together. I forced the tears to gather in my eyes and let them linger without falling. The bedroom door opened. Sean's tall figure appeared against the light. The coldness from outside still clung to him as his deep gaze landed on me. What happened? His voice held no warmth. I looked up at him with tear-filled eyes. My lips trembled slightly. I didn't say anything. I simply reached out and gently grabbed the hem of his shirt. It was a move I had practiced thousands of times. He always fell for this. Sure enough, his Adam's apple bobbed up and down. He leaned forward and pulled me into his arms. He lifted my chin and forced me to look at him. Who upset you? I merely shook my head. A single tear fell at exactly the right moment. It landed on the back of his hand. It was warm. His gaze darkened, and he held me even tighter. All right, don't cry. His rare gentle tone only sent a chill down my spine. Kayla is coming tomorrow. Kayla Larson was his treasured first love. The next day, Kayla arrived right on time. She had on a white Chanel suit. She looked very elegant, but her pale complexion made her appear somewhat fragile. Meanwhile, I had on the white dress Sean loved, and I was barefoot. I looked clueless, like I'd never seen the world. Miss Everton, congratulations. Kayla smiled as she handed me an exquisitely wrapped gift box. Sean told me you're expecting. This is just a little something from me. I didn't take it. Sean sat across from me and held his coffee. His eyes stayed fixed on me. It was almost as if he was watching an entertaining performance. Inside my stomach, Lily was already furious. Mommy, it's an antique baby outfit. She's deliberately giving us something a dead person wore to curse us. Caleb's voice followed. Don't panic. She wants to provoke you and make you lose control in front of Sean. Mommy, act scared and ignorant. I understood the assignment. I timidly glanced at Sean, then at Kayla. I don't think I can accept it. Sean said I shouldn't casually take things from other people. With just one sentence, I placed me and Sean on the same side and made Kayla other people. Kayla's smile froze. Sean, who was holding his coffee, stopped moving and smiled. Kayla gave it to you. Take it. Since he had spoken, I could only slowly reach out. I opened the gift box. Inside was a lace baby outfit that had turned slightly yellow with age. The craftsmanship was exquisite, but it carried an unmistakable sense of oldness. I immediately pulled away as if I had been burned. I covered my mouth and my eyes filled with fear. Where did you get this? Could there be bacteria on it? My babies could get sick, I said through choked sobs. I sounded naive and foolish. Kayla's face turned pale. Her expression darkened. Miss Everton, this was handmade for the Furcanso royal family. It's priceless. But it's so old. I pouted. Tears gathered in my eyes. Sean, I'm scared. I turned to face Sean. It looked like I was asking him to protect me. Sean put down his coffee cup. He stood up and walked over to me before pulling me into his arms. He didn't even look at Kayla. He simply told the butler, Walter, put it away. Burn it later. He then lowered his head and whispered next to my ear. Stop crying. Kayla left. As she walked away, the hatred in her eyes was so intense it felt like she wanted to tear me apart. Sean, however, acted as if nothing had happened. He held my chin and forced me to drink a glass of prenatal vitamin supplements. The bitter liquid made my entire face scrunch up. He laughed and brushed a finger against my lips. You're so spoiled. I couldn't tell whether it was praise or mockery. Mommy, he's going to a private auction tonight, Caleb suddenly said. He'll take you with him. Why? My heart clenched. Kayla always went to places like that. It's a trap, Caleb answered immediately. He's using you to lure someone out. Who? His illegitimate older brother, Steve Freeman. I was taken aback. Did the Freeman family have an illegitimate son? I had never heard of that. Steve has always wanted a share of the family fortune, but he never had a chance. Tonight's auction has something that belonged to his mother. Sean deliberately leaked the information to draw him out. What is it? A jade hairpin. What does that have to do with me? Sean told outsiders that the jade hairpin was something he bought for you as a reward after you give birth to his heir. Lily kicked angrily inside me. Daddy is awful. He's using us as bait. Caleb remained calm. Mommy, this is our chance. You can't make a mistake. You need to perform perfectly. That night, Sean really did take me to the auction. The venue was filled with wealthy elites. Everyone had on expensive clothes and carried an air of arrogance. Kayla was there too. She moved around Sean like she was his wife. Meanwhile, I was nothing more than a decoration. Sean pushed me into my seat and warned me, stay here. Don't move around. I obediently nodded. The auction began. One item after another was presented. Finally, the jade hairpin appeared. It was emerald green. A lifelike lotus flower was carved into the tip. This is the silent lotus. The starting bid is $500,000. Kayla looked at Sean, her eyes filled with confidence. Everyone knew Kayla loved lotus flowers, but Sean didn't even raise his bidding paddle. The price continued climbing. Soon it reached $1.5 million. Suddenly, a bidding paddle with an unfamiliar number was raised. $2 million. There were gasps in the crowd. I saw Sean's hand gripping the armrest. His knuckles had turned white. Beside him, Kayla's expression had become extremely horrid. Sean, that man. Sean ignored her. He turned his head and looked at me. His gaze was sharp enough to pierce straight through me. Do you like it? My entire body stiffened. The 2 little ones inside me held their breath too. This was a lose-lose situation. If I said I liked it, Sean would think I was greedy and that I was working with Steve. If I said I didn't like it, I would seem fake. Caleb analyzed the situation quickly. Say that you're not worthy of it. Make it sound like you're beneath everyone else. I bit my lower lip and gently shook my head. It's too valuable. My voice was soft. It carried a hint of humility and fear. I'm just someone who's here to give you children. I'm not worthy of something this precious. Sean's expression changed instantly. The sharp suspicion in his eyes faded. Instead, something complicated appeared. He lifted his hand and intended to ruffle my hair like he usually did, but I flinched. His hand froze in midair. Inside the auction venue, the price had already climbed to $3 million. The mysterious bidder was now fighting against another buyer. Sean's phone suddenly vibrated. He glanced at it and immediately narrowed his eyes. He stood up abruptly and grabbed my wrist before dragging me away. The force was so strong that it almost crushed my bones. Sean, what are you doing? I cried out in pain. He didn't answer. He only dragged me through the crowd. Under everyone's shocked gaze, he shoved me into the car. After we returned to the villa, he threw me onto the sofa. Talk. What is your relationship with Steve? He asked through clenched jaws. The pain brought tears to my eyes. My wrist was already red and swollen. I don't know him. I have no idea who he is. You don't know him? He sneered. He then tossed his phone in front of me. There was a text message on the screen. I'm determined to get the hairpin. I'm also very interested in your woman. The sender was Steve. My mind went blank. This was a setup within a setup. Mommy, don't panic. This is a false accusation. Lily shouted anxiously. He won't believe you. Caleb's voice was cold. He only believes the evidence in front of him. Sean leaned forward. His hands pressed against the sofa on either side of me. His shadow completely covered me. Anna, didn't I warn you to behave? I could feel his breath against my face. It reeked of tobacco and rage. I gave you the best life possible, and this is how you repay me? That's not true. I screamed back through my tears. I really don't know him. This must be Kayla. She's jealous because I'm carrying your children. Feeling desperate, I could only redirect the blame elsewhere. Kayla? Sean looked like he had heard the funniest joke in the world. Why does she need to be jealous of you? Those words felt like a knife stabbing directly into my heart. He was right. Who was I to say that? I was nothing but a surrogate tool for bearing his children, and I could be replaced anytime. How could I ever compare myself to the woman he truly loved? A sense of sorrow filled my chest. Just as I was about to break down crying, Caleb's voice came like a tranquilizer. Mommy, don't just cry. Look into his eyes. Use the most innocent expression possible. Cry like you depend on him. Make him feel like he's your only lifeline. I immediately looked up. Ignoring the pain in my wrist, I reached out with trembling fingers and grabbed his sleeve like I was holding onto the only piece of driftwood keeping me alive. I looked at him. Tears welled up in my eyes. My voice turned hoarse. Sean, I'm not afraid of you. I'm only afraid you'll misunderstand me. I'm afraid you won't want me anymore. You're all I have. My reaction seemed to surprise Sean. His rage calmed a little. Mommy, don't give up. Keep crying. Make him feel sorry for you. Lily encouraged me. I cried even harder. My entire body trembled. Sean, I only wanted to give birth to our children, I said through choked sobs. If you don't believe me, then let's just get rid of them. After saying that, I closed my eyes. I was gambling on how much Sean cared about our two children. I could feel Sean's breath close to me. I didn't know how much time had passed. Finally, he straightened up. Don't let me find out you're lying, he said before turning around and slamming the door shut. I let out a sigh of relief, but the fear still lingered. Mommy, you were amazing. Lily cheered inside my belly. Caleb immediately rained on our parade. Don't celebrate just yet. He's only temporarily convinced. The listening device is still there. He'll monitor you 24 hours a day. I climbed off the sofa, walked into the bathroom, and turned on the faucet. The loud sound of running water temporarily blocked the recording. I stared at my pale face in the mirror. My eyes were swollen from crying. For a moment, I couldn't even recognize myself. What am I supposed to do? I asked my babies inside me. Turn his plan against him. Caleb's voice came clearly. He suspects that you have a connection with Steve, doesn't he? Then we'll let him see you actually have one. I froze.